steep slope or steep angle slash transitioning to moderate, so we're kind of in a gray area. We're initially going to start off unquestionably steep angle, and then at some point, like, things are going to change, and so that's going to affect how we rig and how we transport a patient in this environment. This one's kind of unique. We're trying to simulate a real event that happened, and so usually fire-based crews, typically they operate off the side of a road, and they're always going down first and then hauling somebody back up a slope. But here, we had to park at a trailhead, walk a short distance, and our injured person is actually uphill a short jump. And now there's this risk analysis that has to take place. So with fire-based technical services, yeah, like depending on how far we have to go, we can absolutely probably get there and effect a rescue a lot faster than maybe county search and rescue. So it just depends. Also, the kind of gear you have and what you're outfitted for and how you can access. We're gonna put our simulated victim is in the red hat downslope. Can you see way down there? That's where they crashed, and we had to actually come up and assess, but we can't assess right there because we have no footing, and all we're really focused on is not falling ourselves. So we can do that. We can scramble up this stuff without any ropes or any protection if that's all we're doing. But if we're doing work in addition to that, we really should have some sort of like tether line that's going to protect us. And so that's what we're going to do. Our whole crew decided that we're going to bypass our patient. We aren't abandoning them. We just need to set like some sort of tether line so we can go back down and like do our job. And so Gabe and I are going to go down on our own static lines, assess, call for what we need, and we already know that we're probably going to need a litter transport device. So Jan is standing by with that, and we have some splinting material we'll call for as well. It's going to be down, steep angle slash moderate angle with a change in fall line at some point. That change of direction is going to go hand in hand with a shift in our angle from steep to more moderate. It's a gray area. We don't quite know. Really, the effects are going to be what the litter tenders feel. Like the more weight that we have to hold in our hands, that's an indicator that says, okay, we're no longer in steep angle. We're starting to flatten out. 2-tension rope system. We're shark finning the Maestros with a single operator, just to conserve on manpower. So that's it. Gabe, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, let's go down on our own power.
Copy that. Litter, quick splint.
Just lean back, Jan. I can't really do this comfortably without some sort of security, hence I wouldn't call it like a rappel line. I mean, mostly I'm stable on my feet, so is Gabe, but this just helps, especially when we're descending down, so that we don't kick rocks and stuff under our patient. That's kind of important. Cool. All right, so we got our patient rigged in the splint, internal, external lashing just for good measure, right? So he won't fall out the head or the foot or roll out the sides. Jan's been at the foot hooked in on a primary and a secondary this whole time. He came down with the litter. Gabe and I are gonna help tend the litter. Since it's steep angle, you need more tenders, so one on each side. But we're ditching our kind of our restraint line or static tether, and we're gonna hook into the system. Let's recap of how we're connected in our steep angle. So we have interlocking long tail bow lines, and the reason we have that is because we're anticipating for a distance that's gonna be more than the available rope length that we have. And so as our angle goes from steep to a little bit less steep, maybe in the moderate gray area terrain, we can make a judgment call and undo one of these lines, and then they can tie ropes together at the anchors, and that gives us basically another 300 feet of rope. So that's why we don't do double long tail bow lines, but do interlocking, because one stays under tension, we can detension the other and untie it and repurpose it out and go twice the distance. I have another video on the bridle and kind of what it looks like. So there are a bunch of ways to do this. We've just found that like doing it parallel with the slope, it's easier to manage. So we're gonna be leaning back quite a bit, all three of us, and we're gonna be kind of sharing. The rope system's gonna be taking up some of the tension. Gravity's gonna kind of be in our favor, at least initially. That doesn't mean that we aren't supporting the patient, the load of the patient in the litter with our feet. To some extent we are, As we shallow out, it's going to be even more pronounced on our legs, and it's going to be harder to hold that litter up and maintain our balance at the same time. So that's kind of like this gray area between steep angle and low angle that we're in. We're both Gabe and I are both connected primarily through our ventral or pelvic ring to the map. And you could go to the interlocking long-tail bow lines. I just prefer going to the rings. We both have Aztecs. Gabe is doing the set of 4s as a primary connection. It's adjustable, it works. I'm just doing the fall restraint into my Aztec on a single piece of 8mm, and I'm managing that adjustability with my safeguards. So either way is fine. And we're both backed up, just standard Prusik on one of the tails of the long-tail bow lines. Gabe is in the class 3 harness, and so he's backed up to a fall arrest point, the sternal point. I'm actually just in a seat harness out here in these elements. I can justify just going with a seat harness, and when I do that, my backup's in the same point. There's nowhere else I can actually put that. So in steep angle, you can, in a backcountry environment, you can kind of justify that. Jan is directly hooked in to a Delta Link as close as he can to the foot of the litter, and he's hooked in just the same as Gabe. External backup connection point with a Prusik. Ready? Okay, up. Lean back into it. There we go.
We're going over the log or around it?
Probably gonna go right on top.
Okay.
Left hand supports the load. Lean back into the system. Walk back. Don't fight it with your legs. Yep. Okay, so we stopped here at a directional, and so Justin's going to mind or tend that directional. We're undoing one of the lines altogether, the interlocking long tail. Now we're on a single line. Just for good measure, we're still going to all be backed up on the remaining long tail. And we're going to be using more of like the webbing strap on both sides of us to kind of help keep the load balanced, centered on us as we walk backwards. Because we're trying to balance a lot of different forces now that our angle's going shallow. As we hook in our directional to our loaded line, as we shift directions, Justin's going to haul on the Aztec, and we want to try to we're basically trying to convert this thing into a high directional, like a natural high directional on a tree. So dynamic directional, because it's on the Aztec. Easy to clip in now. We change directions. We're going to try to help Justin kind of get this line up as high as we can up into that tree. And it'll help ease the forces that we have to manage as the rescuers on the litter. 1, 2, 3, lift and lean back. Ready, Jan?
Yeah, you tell me when.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, and as we go down, let's start shifting.
Wait for a little bit.
Okay.
We're gonna go down past this boulder and tree.
Okay.
Stay
And then
straight.
Justin, you can start pulling in.
Yeah, I am.
Whenever you want. Okay. Stay straight, stay straight. Pull it all in. There you go. More. All the way up. Okay. Okay, so our anchor operator did run out of 300 feet of rope, so now he's tying the blue line with the red line together, and we're gonna go initial distance. But here, like, we're kind of at moderate low, and we could feel that, Gabe and I, there's more stress on our arm holding the litter, as well as that strap going around the side, and it's more fatiguing and tiring. So at this point, it's probably more prudent to get 1, 2, 3, 4 more rescuers so that we have 3 on each side and treat it more like a low angle type scenario. We can leave a main line here as like a backup just to hold in case anything slides past us. This is a way to do it. It's not the way, but it's a way that we find is kind of easiest given the circumstances and the terrain and the manpower we have. We didn't talk about litter wheels. We don't have one, but if we had a litter wheel, that is definitely an option, especially here. From here on out, if I had a litter wheel, I'd just rig it up and then go. So all things you can consider. Do we need a high directional? It helps. It's not like critical, but it definitely helps that angle for us. If we had to go back up, High directionals, absolutely. There's a lot of friction and rub points. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4 people that they're hauling. And granted, it's not a full vertical environment where all the force is there, but it's still substantial. Especially if you don't have a high directional, you amplify the tension force that they have to overcome on the anchors on a steep angle if you're going back up. So all those things just take into consideration. So that's steep angle / moderate to low, all in one shot. There you have it.